Good evening. I want to talk to y'all today about be prepared for customers. Here's what I'm talking about. For about the last 2 to 3 weeks, me and my wife, we've been in the market to purchase another home. So we was down there at Whole Foods and we ran into a lady back there on the aisle. You know, we were shopping on the same aisle and, you know, one thing led to another and we was talking and she told me that she knows a gentleman who owns his own real estate agency out here. So she, you know, gave me his number and then I wound up calling him a few days later and he was like, Tony, I'm going to set you up with my absolute top agent. Her name is Isabel. Tony, she's killing it. Oh my God, like she's made $1 gazillion in sales. She's been featured here. She's been this. Tony, man, she's making so much money. She write a check, the bank bounce. Sunday rolls around. Me and my wife, we get in a car. We drive over way across town to the property. And when we get there, it's a nice G-Wagon, one of the Mercedes G-Wagons sitting in the driveway. And I was like, oh shit, you know, like it was custom, it was fixed up, you know, like some real nice rims on there and everything. I was like, shit, god damn, like, did I drive the right car today? Me and my wife, we get out the car, we walk inside the house. When we get inside of there, we see Isabel, she's holding her phone or whatnot. So I'm thinking she's taking pictures. So when we walk in, you know, I introduced myself, my wife introduced herself. Isabel was like, okay, yeah. So it was kind of odd. It was like she was like, yeah, okay. I'm thinking no big deal. You know, maybe she's a wee bit nervous. I was like, okay, Isabel, you ready to take us on the tour? Isabel was like, no, Tony, this is a self-guided tour. I was like, oh, so you're not gonna like show us around and show us everything on the house? She was like, no, I'm just gonna just sit here and just send a few text messages and things like that. If you need me, Tony, just holler at me. So I'm thinking, again, a little odd, but you know, not a deal breaker. Me and my wife, we like, okay, let's go. So, you know, we walking throughout the house and we looking at the kitchen, chef-inspired kitchen, and everything is gorgeous. And we walk in and I felt the countertops. I was like, okay, shit, these countertops feel nice right here. Are these marble? Are these granite? Is this Formica? What is this? Like, what kind of material is this right here? Then we got inside of the bathroom and the bathroom has a gorgeous fireplace inside the bathroom. And I was like, oh, babe, look at this right here. Look at this fireplace right here. Like, oh my God. And then but we had so many questions about the house. We get back out to Isabel. I'm like, okay, Isabel, okay, few questions for you. So Isabel, you know, puts her phone down and puts it in her purse. And she's like, yeah, what do you got? First question, Isabel. How much is the homeowners association for this house? Isabel was like, I think it's about $190 a month or something like that, Tony. Maybe 200. Give me 1 second and let me see. So me and my wife was like, okay, yeah, go ahead. So Isabel reaches in her purse, gets her phone out. Hey, yeah, it's me. I'm down here at the property right here, XYZ LMNOP. How much is the homeowners association on this home right here? Yeah, okay, all right. Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Okay, bye. All right, Tony. So the homeowners association on this home right here, guys, is going to be $300 a month. I'm so sorry about that. So me and my wife, we looked at each other. We was like, that's a wee bit high or whatnot. I was like, okay, now next question, Isabel. We noticed it was a fireplace inside of the bathroom. What is that material? Is that marble? Is that like, what is that? She was like, you're talking about the trim? I'm talking about the physical fireplace. Like, what is it constructed out of? She was like, I don't know. Hold on. Hey, it's me again. So in the bathroom, what is that fireplace made out of? And then also the customer wants to know what kind of windows are these in the back right here? What kind of windows are these? Okay, okay, yeah. Okay, bye. This went on for about 20 minutes. It was like every question that I asked Isabel, it was like she didn't know the answer to it. Most realtors, they're coming in with like pen, papers, and like notebooks and, you know, flip pads and things like that. So that way, when a question like that is asked, the realtor, instead of having a phone home, you know, him, her, they, or them, would be able to look at everything. The way how the agency owner was pumping my head up about Isabel, I'm thinking she had everything memorized. I'm thinking she knew exactly what time it was. We was like, okay, Isabel, Thank you so much for your time. Yeah, we have another listing to go to. Now, honestly, me and my wife, we did not have another listing to go to. We didn't want to be rude to Isabel, but we didn't want to keep having our time wasted because we already killed the hour and 45 minutes by her making these phone calls and back and forth to the home office. We got back in the car. We drove back home. My wife was like, damn, Tony, like, that's crazy, like how somebody that makes this amount of sales and that's, you know, featured in this and featured in that, I don't understand, like, how does she not know about the house? Like, if she's the top agent, this isn't a real big deal here that we didn't want the house. It's not a big deal because I'm pretty sure somebody else is going to come through and immediately sweep the house up. So actually no big deal. But the thing is, this was over like $500,000 on the line here. Isabel didn't know the answer to these questions. Again, I know it's a lot of houses and things like that you have to know, but at least be prepared. Like, at least have your flip sheet, at least have your notebook and your clipbook. You know, have it, if you want to have your phone out, you know, have notes on your phone. Like, don't try to like freestyle it and you don't really necessarily know, and then you have to come back and keep phoning home. The guy had called me, the owner of the company. He called me, he was like, yeah, Tony, so are you and your wife interested in the house? I was like, nah. Here is what Isabel could have done to have made me and my wife purchase the house. Because me and my wife, we went there with the intent to purchase. Instead of Isabel TikToking, what she could have done was, as soon as we walked in, was like, hey, Tony, hey, Yesenia, how y'all guys doing? Oh, hey, Isabel, we doing okay? Hey, Isabel. And then Isabel was like, hey, are y'all ready to go for a grand tour? With the particular kind of money that was on the line right here, Isabel should have took us on a tour like we was on a damn Great Gatsby. Isabel should have been like, all right, Tony, the fireplace in the bathroom right here is fresh marble. It was imported from Norway. We had a man over in England tailor make these drapes right here, Tony. 96 inches long. You'll never find another drape like this. And this is the reason why an additional $55,000 was put onto this house right here, Tony. And then the flooring right here, Tony. Oh my God, this is Pella wood, fresh from the Nile River. Oh yeah, we got this and this is included. That's what Isabel should have done, because Isabel would have done that. The house actually had like a body of water. So if Isabel would have took me on a Great Gatsby tour, she would have been telling me all of this stuff. And then as soon as she would have took me to the backyard, and I would have seen that water, first thing I'd have been thinking, I gotta get me a boat. I'd have been thinking like an exotic fantasy in my head. I would have immediately started thinking Puff Daddy videos, Don Perignon, I'm on a boat, silk shirts on, sitting back, champagne glass in my hand, Versace glasses on, I'm cruising around, shirt flapping in the wind. I would have came up with this exotic fantasy had Isabel been prepared and sold me that fantasy for this home right here. That's just something that Isabel could have done and should have done to sell me that exotic fantasy, and that would have definitely made me and my wife be ready to go down there to the loan office and everything, pam, keys to the new house. We was ready, but Isabel, the agent, wasn't ready. Things like that makes customers lose faith in you. And if a customer loses faith in you, just like we lost faith in Isabel, which means we lost faith in the whole company. So kind of almost like a guilty by association kind of deal here. So again, that's just a little tip that I always say, be prepared, because if you are in a real estate agency or something like that, you never know what kind of questions your customer are going to ask. They might ask you what kind of handles are on the cabinet in the kitchen, in the guest bathroom downstairs. As a realtor, if you don't know that off the top of your head, that is all right, but at least have quick access without having to phone home like ET to know the answer to the question. Because as a realtor, and especially as a high dollar realtor, you should kind of like know things like this. You know, that should kind of be like second nature. Like, I recommend to study the house, like go through, you know, the MLS and study the house, and like go through and like, you know, have the main agent, you know, who's in charge of the company, have him, her, they, or them, have them to like show you exactly, you know, what this is, and show you what that is, and show you what this does, and show you what this does. So that way, when you get a customer like Tony Reed that comes in and asking all kind of intricate questions about the house, you will be able to properly answer that customer's question without appearing to drop the ball, and also appearing not to have it together. That about wraps it up for this video. Until next time, I'll catch you later.